to California. I can't get a direct flight. They said they have to stop at the Empire State Building first.
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 times shock comics went too far.
Can I give you guys a word of advice? Lose the beards, because your King Osama looks like a kind of dirty wizard or a homeless Santa.
For this list, we'll be looking at the most risque comedians who crossed a line with their jokes, pranks, or stunts and paid a price for it. When it comes to comedy, how far is too far for you? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. Kathy Griffin's Donald Trump mask. Over the years, Kathy Griffin has gained quite the reputation for her controversial statements about religion and celebrity culture. However, many were left horrified when she expressed her displeasure with the then-President Donald Trump in the most disturbing way imaginable.
Pictures and video depicting comedian Kathy Griffin holding the bloody, decapitated head of President Trump are no joking matter for the Secret Service.
In May 2017, Griffin posted pictures of herself holding up a bloody mask that closely resembled Trump and made a reference to some of his past statements in her caption.
Griffin joked about the reaction the photo shoot would get from law enforcement.
We have to move to Mexico today because we're going to go to prison.
The post was met with a wave of criticism from both sides of the political divide, resulting in Griffin taking down the picture and offering an apology.
Inappropriate, disgusting, upsetting. Some just calling the stunt dumb. The president stayed out of it, but his son, Donald Trump Jr., tweeted, "Disgusting, but not surprising."
Nevertheless, she lost multiple job deals and was forced to cancel her upcoming tour dates. Number 9. Artie Lange's controversial tweet.
Artie Lange is not welcome at ESPN after a sexually charged and racist Twitter rant on Wednesday directed at ESPN's Carrie Champion.
As one of the contributors on Shock Jock Howard Stern's radio show, Artie Lange was known for his crude sense of humor. The comedian came under fire in 2014 after putting out a series of tweets involving ESPN host Carrie Champion.
He tweeted, "The chick on ESPN's First Take is so blanking hot."
In the thread, Lange expressed his attraction for Champion and then proceeded to describe, in explicit detail, a fantasy which harkened back to the era of slavery.
And I was like, why does this white man think it's funny to make jokes about slavery? I was like, how are we 2014, whatever? I was just like, this is crazy.
In the heat of the backlash, Lange refused to plead for forgiveness for the jokes, but put out an apology directly to Champion, just in case he offended her. The racially charged comments certainly did him no favors, as Lange was dropped by Comedy Central and banned from ever appearing on ESPN. Number 8. Andrew Dice Clay's VMA routine. Back in his heyday, comedian Andrew Dice Clay was a polarizing figure, famous for his intentionally offensive alter ego, the Dice Man. The act landed him an appearance as a presenter at the 1989 MTV Video Music Awards.
My name is Dice. I'm here to say I was born in Brooklyn, Sheepshead Bay.
Tasked with introducing Cher, Clay went on stage and performed a 3-minute routine, which included a naughty version of the Mother Goose nursery rhymes.
Well, Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet, eating her curds and whey. One came a Spidey, sat them beside, he said, "Hey, what's in the bowl, bitch?" Oh!
As if that wasn't bad enough, the Dice Man threw in some of George Carlin's 7 dirty words you can never say on television. Well, he was on television. Unsurprisingly, this proved too much for the network's executives, who initially gave Clay a lifetime ban, but eventually lifted it in 2011.
I dig this crowd. We got some hot chicks right up front, eh? What's your name, honey? Any idea? I dig chicks. I dig them. A little too thin. I dig it, though, you know?
Number 7. Frankie Boyle targets Katie Price's son. When it comes to controversial jokes, Frankie Boyle has carved a niche for himself.
Do you remember years ago when they were making Braveheart? Everyone said, "Oh, it's ridiculous. Mel Gibson playing a Scottish guy. That's not going to be very convincing." And look at him now. An alcoholic racist.
The Scottish comedian has been accused of crossing the proverbial line so many times, but arguably the most notable incident involved reality star Katie Price and her son Harvey. In one episode of his 2010 sketch show, Tramadol Nights, Boyle made a joke about Price's divorce and custody battle over Harvey.
Apparently Jordan and Peter Andre are fighting each other over custody of Harvey. Although eventually one of them will lose and have to keep him.
He then made a disturbing reference to the young boy, who suffers from a rare disorder that left him with mental and physical disabilities. The remarks were poorly received by Price and the general public, with around 500 people filing complaints with British media regulator Ofcom.
Well, he obviously won't learn, will he? And the people in the crowd, they're just disgusting themselves if they want to go and support someone like that.
Number 6. Andy Kaufman revives an old woman. Throughout the 70s and 80s, Andy Kaufman earned a name for himself with the eccentric characters he played on shows like Taxi and Saturday Night Live.
I would like to imitate Archie Bunker. You stupid. You are so stupid.
Far from the conventional comedian, Kaufman would slip in and out of characters during his shows and taunt his audience with elaborate pranks. That all came to play during a 1979 performance at Carnegie Hall. As part of his routine, Kaufman brought up an elderly woman and made her dance until she seemingly suffered a heart attack and collapsed.
Is there a doctor in the house? Seriously. Is there a doctor in the house, please? Will you shut these lights off? Teddy, will you shut the side lights off here, please?
While the audience was audibly horrified, he disappeared backstage and re-emerged wearing a Native American headdress. He then appeared to revive the woman by performing a resurrection dance around her, which certainly relieved the concerned room. Number 5. Howard Stern mocks Selena's passing. Fans around the world were left in shock when popular Tejano singer Selena was shot and killed in March of 1995.
I was just numb. I went into a sort of shock.
In the aftermath of her death, infamous shock jock Howard Stern caught a lot of flack over the hurtful comments he made about the singer on his radio show. Stern ridiculed Selena's music, which he played on air with gunshots in the background. He then compared her songs unfavorably to those of Alvin and the Chipmunks and made disparaging remarks about the Hispanic community.
Mexican Americans are not amused. He blasted her songs. He said, Alvin and the Chipmunks have more soul. Spanish people have the worst taste in music. They have no depth.
Although he apologized later, many, particularly in Selena's home state of Texas, rejected the apology and boycotted his show.
As hundreds of Mexican Americans called for Howard Stern's resignation over what they are calling racist remarks about the death of popular Tex-Mex star Selena and Hispanics in general.
As a result, a warrant was issued for Stern's arrest in the city of Harlingen, although it was never executed. Number 4. Tom Green's The Canterbury Tales sketch. Before the Tom Green Show found its way to American audiences by way of MTV, it premiered on a small community channel in Ontario, Canada. The sketch comedy series, which featured the titular comedian performing bizarre routines in his home and in the public, gradually developed a cult following.
Time to milk cows. I'm the police officer. It's time to milk. It's time to milk. Time to milk cows. I'm a police officer.
In this particularly shocking clip, Green dons a blonde wig and a pink dress while dragging along a rope of rotting goat heads on the street. As if that wasn't unsettling enough, he squirms and grunts to the horror of many passerby. According to Green, it was possibly one of the most surreal moments of his entire life. So you can imagine how the other people must have felt. Number 3. Joan Rivers' Holocaust joke.
Got to ask you about the controversy that's been going on. You're very well aware of it, about a particular joke you told.
For the late, great Joan Rivers, there was apparently no such thing as a line to cross when it came to comedy. The highly controversial comedian was widely known for her tell-it-like-it-is humor and her insistence on never apologizing for her jokes.
Any subject that's too serious that you wouldn't take on in humor?
I think that's how we get through life. That's how I get. You make people laugh. You laugh, you can deal with it. Done.
In 2013, Rivers found herself in hot water yet again for comments she made on the E! show Fashion Police. While speaking about supermodel Heidi Klum's Oscars after-party dress, Rivers uttered a joke that made reference to the Holocaust. The remarks drew the ire of many in the Jewish community. including the Anti-Defamation League, who demanded an apology from the comedian. We're pretty sure you don't need us to tell you how that ended.
And there are people who say you should apologize.
For what?
What do you say to them?
Why don't you worry about Mel Gibson?
Number 2. Sacha Baron Cohen's Bruno blunder. Sacha Baron Cohen has gained international recognition for his portrayal of outlandish characters who goad unsuspecting people in filmed interviews. For the most part, lawsuits against the British comedian have ended up getting thrown out of court until this came along. In his 2009 film Bruno, Cohen talks with Ayman Abu Aita, a Palestinian grocer and activist who he wrongfully introduces as a terrorist group leader.
I am going to say something that is going to get you so angry that if you've got a gun on you, you're going to pull it out and shoot me in the head. Are you ready?
Yeah. Then, in a later interview with David Letterman, Cohen goes as far as describing him as a terrorist. Following the film's release, Ada filed a lawsuit against Cohen and Letterman seeking millions in damages for defamation.
When Abu Aita found out a couple weeks ago that he had unknowingly become a star in Cohen's raunchy new comedy, he was not happy. And now he's planning revenge.
The case was eventually settled out of court to the mutual satisfaction of everyone involved. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Gilbert Gottfried's 9/11 joke. In the aftermath of 9/11, it was pretty much taboo to make jokes about the tragedy. Gilbert Gottfried learned that the hard way when he made light of the event at the Friars Club roast of Hugh Hefner, just 3 weeks after it occurred. Speaking to the audience, Gottfried explained that he couldn't catch a direct flight to California because
They said they have to stop at the Empire State Building first.
the joke clearly put off many in the room, with one person even yelling, "Too soon." It wouldn't be Gottfried's last time making a costly quip about a disaster. In 2011, he was dropped as the voice of the Aflac mascot after joking about the Tohoku earthquake and tsunami on Twitter.
But how much money did you lose on that?
A lot more than we lost with the Mangrave.
The Aflac duck.
Yes.
Did you lose a lot of money?
No.
In future.
No. It was $5 a commercial.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.